Hi, in this lesson we will look at the past tense and more specifically ed sounds. So we have the t sound, the d sound, the id sound, and also irregular verbs. So for example, the past tense, we use did in a question. So when did you finish your work? When did you get home? When did he call? Who did he talk to? Where did you go? And you use did and then the verb. The verb does not change. But in a positive sentence, an affirmative sentence, you have to make it ed. So I finished my work last night. My friend called me. I enjoyed the movie. I visited my grandmother, right? I handed in my homework. So we have to add ed. Now for a negative, you don't. So I didn't go anywhere. I didn't see my grandmother. I didn't call my friend. So negative, no change. So it's just this positive sentence that we need ed. Now, rule. We only use the ed extension on affirmative statements, like we just showed, and, so there it is, and there are three ways that we can pronounce ed. So, the ed sounds, there's t, d, and id. So for example, we hoped it would rain. Now notice, hoped it, we hoped it would rain. We hoped it would rain. We have the d sound. He closed the door. He closed the door. And we have the id sound. He started the game. He started the game. It started to rain, etc. Now, first the d sounds, very easy. I cleaned the room. I enjoyed the movie. I mowed the lawn. So we just use ed, very easy. Right now, the ta sound. We have many ways that we use the t sound depending on the spelling. So if it's ch, reach, watch, match. We have reach, reached, watch, watched, match, matched. So for example, reached. We reached the end. We reached the end. Watched. We watched a movie. We watched a movie. Match, matched. Our shirts matched. Now we also have the sh sound. Push, rush, fish. Pushed, rushed, fished. Example. He pushed open the door. He pushed open the door. We rushed home. We fished at the lake. Now we have the S sound, so s, right? And you could have dressed, rinsed, placed. For example, she dressed her son. He rinsed his hair, and we placed it outside. Now we have walk, so the K sound, walked, talked, backed. We walked inside. He talked all day. We backed our files. We backed up our files, sorry. And then we have the P sound, stopped, wiped, clapped. She stopped the game. He wiped it up. We clapped our hands. Then we have the f sound, stuffed, laughed, coughed. She stuffed the bag. He laughed at me. He coughed all night. Now, coughed all, notice the link, coughed all night. Now we also have the id sound. So id is for verbs that end in t or d. For example, waited, voted, handed, decided. Example, she waited for 2 hours. Long time. He voted for his friend. She handed me a note. He decided to stay home. So we have the id sound. Now we do have some irregular verbs with no ed ending. So for example, eat, ate, go, went, cut, cut. For example, she ate 2 pizzas, he went to the park, and he cut his hand. Now, did you know there are about 100 irregular verbs? So you do need to learn them, but we will study those in another lesson. We have another video where we just talk about irregular verbs. because there's just so many that you have to remember. But we use them a lot. Take, took, see, saw, pay, paid, etc. And that is it. That is ed endings. So remember, when you speak in an affirmative sentence in the past tense, you have to do ed. So for example, yesterday I walked to the store. I purchased my items using a credit card. I used my credit card. I looked at many items. So again, using ed in the past tense. And that's it. That's the lesson for today. Thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, and talk to you soon. Bye.